What's going on YouTube? It's Tempest again. I have a new mat, Eclectic Overlord. It's pretty neat. I also have a new deck profile for you. It's not really new, it's actually an update of my Saber deck. But nonetheless, it has changed. I've been playing at my locals a little bit, and there have been some changes to the deck, mainly in the main deck. But yeah, just some minor things that need to be addressed if you want to play the deck. Yeah, so yeah, good cards are good, and I might get right into it. It's my latest deck from this format, so it has everything in here and was built completely to kind of challenge the meta. So you got your 3 Bogart Knights, you got your tankies in here to search them out, so you kind of need to max them now. You just get them and you special summon another one from your hand, so that's you start your Synchro Blaze and other things. Just play them at 3, I guess. I don't know what else to say. 3 Full Helm Knight. There's some things said about him in that video. Stuff like you can use them to destroy face downs and special summon more things. The fact that you can negate attacks and stuff OTKs is helpful. There's other things, but mainly just the fact that he's a level 3 tuner and he can negate attacks. So, 2 Emerald Blade. I'm really thinking about dropping him to 1. I don't know what else I'd put in for him, but I really feel like he's not that great. Not this format anyway. He's just not necessary. If he gets a short battle, it's great, but there's other level 3 non-tuners in here. And the fact is, I don't really need the defense because I have Pashals in here, so I might drop down to 1 still waffling about that. But he worked fine at 2 in the tournament, and I didn't need any more than just 2. And I didn't feel the need to drop him down to 1, but he is a good floater. He's also a good search choice with Dark Soul, but I don't know. 2 might be okay, but you could still probably play him at 1. 3 Dark Soul, the Searcher. It's level 3 non-tuner, and you basically need to max him. So yeah, play Dark Soul at 3. Next we got 3 Fall Troll. It's the boss monster of the deck. Lets you get your X-Sabers back from your graveyard. You keep synchroing. It's just really good. You need to max this guy now. Some people say 3 is too many, but you have to max him. I'm just telling you now, you have to. He's just too necessary. With the rest of the format, this deck relies too much on the extra deck, and you need to have Fall Troll to kind of get your synchro play started. So you really need to max him. 2 Pashal. I was gonna max him because he's just too good in this deck. You need to hit in level 2 so you can start making your level 8 synchro plays. But the only reason I'm running him at 2 instead of 3 is because I have Reinforced Truth, which lets me search him from the deck, and that makes him basically means I don't have to run a third one of him, and I can thin the deck out that way. So when playing 2, you could play 3 if you want, but I'm just my personal choice when playing 2. Yeah, that's about it. That's it for the X-Sabers. I think there's 14. Oh, 16. Alright, whatever. Moving on to other monsters and monster support. I have 3 Redox. This is a bump up from the last build. The main reason I'm playing 3 is because during the tournament, during my locals, I found that I couldn't use the effect of my first Redox because I was only playing 2 in my deck then. So if I banished the first Redox and the second one, I could never get it effect to go off. And someone was like, "Oh, you should tech in a Reactin." And I'm like, well, I only banish cards so I can summon this guy. So it makes no sense to get Reactin with my first banish if I'm already got my second Redox in my hand, right? So I see the logic in that, but I think what I'd rather do is I'd rather play like just 3 Redox, because that way you can search out the third one with this first one's effect if you need to banish it or something. Another thing you can do is you can play like 1 floater Reactin or something, and then the third Redox. So then you have 3 Redox, 1 Reactin, so you can banish this one to get the Reactin when this one comes out, and then you can use Reactin to discard it, discard another Earth, and get the third Redox from your deck, and then you can use the effect, or you can keep them on the field. If I take out an Emerald Blade, I'd probably take it and put it in for the one reacting, because he is an 1800 attacker, which is always nice, and he's level 4. So next we got 2 Max C's. It's an Earth monster, which means you can discard it for Redox. But more importantly, it slows down the Dragon deck a little bit. Gets you pluses, which the deck needs. The deck almost has no draw power, so Max C is really important for that. Double Veiler. It's Veiler, you need it to kill things. Not really kill things, but it's just really good. I Valor a lot of cards from rogue decks, and mainly just things in general. I didn't play a single dragon deck over the weekend, unfortunately, but yeah. But it's been okay. It's been okay against some things. You can stop some cards. I don't know what to say. I guess the main thing is you can probably stop a lot of what Evil Swarm does, which is this deck's worst matchup right now is Evil Swarm. So that's why Baylor's in here. It's also a level 1 tuner, which is the only level 1 tuner this deck has, so you can make plays with your Redoxes as well. And the last monster is One Swift Scarecrow. I'm going to quote my friend MechVamp on this. If you're not playing this card, your next Sabers right now, you're probably bad. At least with Redox in your deck. With Redox in here, you really need the Swift Scarecrow. This stops a lot of things. Mainly it stops OTKs, which aren't that common right now, but because of dragons, it's still possible. So, and it can just basically slow down the game for a turn for you to help you get your advantage back. So it's a great tech, and it's an Earth monster like everything else in here. So it works with Redox. So not bad. The one thing I dislike about this monster lineup is that it's 24 monsters, which is really high. Of course, about 5 or 6 of them are hand traps. 5 of them are hand traps, and then the 3 Redoxes can be used either as monsters or as monster reborns, because you can discard to them to revive any monster from the graveyard. So yeah, it's pretty monster heavy right now. One thing I dislike about the deck, but hey, what are you gonna do? Alright, so moving on to spells, I have 2 Tenki. Really only need 2. You probably don't even need the card at all on Sabers. You could probably put in more meta hate if you wanted to. But I like it for the attack boost it gives, and also for letting you search out your X Sabers. The great thing about this card that I should mention is that it helps you get False Troll out faster. If you have a X Saber tuner in your hand, like a Full Helm Knight or a Paschal, and you have a False Troll in hand, you can use this card to get your Bogart Knight and start your Synchro plays off. So that can't be underestimated. So it is pretty good. 2 Duality. Normally I don't use well, what am I saying? I use this card a lot. It's great. Again, this deck has a very low draw power, so it's okay to have in there for deck thinning. I just don't really know. I'm still iffy on Duality. Like, you can use it to grab Tenki and then grab something else, but like, unless you have a defensive trap in your hand to stop a monster summon, it's going to be a huge minus for you if you can't go off. And you're going to need to make that Crimson Blade or that Colossal Fighter to help you get your plays going. Not one book. Took Lance out. Book's better right now. Firefists are no longer a thing. Mermail's not really that much of a thing, and really Book's just better. It stops the dragons from XC summoning for like a little bit. It can flip down a Dragosack, I guess. Yeah, just better than Lance right now. And then of course Reborn Heavy Storm. I'm not main Dark Hole anymore. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. And normally with the stuff you summon like Crimson Blader and what else is there? Catester, Scrap Dragon. You really want to keep that stuff on the board. So yeah, only 7 spells. This deck doesn't run like any spells. It's X Sabers. X Sabers almost never run spells. Alright, and then last we got traps. 2 Ecall. Still only 2. I would only run 2. I wouldn't run 1 because it's a really good card. If it's unexpected, you can bring back like a Full Helm Knight and like a Paschal to protect your life points. It's pretty good. Or to just distract them a little bit, because Full Helm was really good with distracting people. Yeah, it's just good. I wouldn't play 3 because that can make it a little bit inconsistent. Unlike False Troll, this card isn't really needed, but it is helpful. So I would just play 2. 1 Reinforced Truth, like I said before, just a kind of floater card. thins the deck out, gets your partial when you need it. And plus this means you don't have to max it, because drawing into partial is okay, but if you get it when you don't need it, it can just like really rip out your life points, because you take 1,000 every standby phase when he is on the board. So yeah. And then last we got 2 torrential, 2 compulse, and judgment and warning. So I got bottomlesses. Compulse is more consistent. Bottomless banishes all the dragons when they're summoned, but you can't. Well, I guess you can get Dragger Sack with it, but Compulse just does so much more. It does more meta-wise, because it targets more Xyz monsters. It gets rid of cards before they can Xyz summon. And whereas Bottomless can't necessarily stop things like Spellbook Magician or well, this card can't stop Spellbook Magician either, but I mean, well, I guess what I'm saying is this card is more versatile, and I'd rather main it than Bottomless right now. And the rest of them are obvious. Torrential's obvious. Warnings are obvious. Yeah, so pretty standard, I guess. Not very many changes from my last build, just the 3 Redox really. And 3 Redox I haven't really tested that much. I think I am going to throw in the 1 Reacting Tech instead of the second Emmer's Blade. As I'm recording this video, I'm deciding that. I think I tend to do that a lot. Anyway, moving on to the most important part of the deck is the extra deck. We got Nappies, godlike against so many decks, mainly against Mermail and, well, maybe not Mermail because they can just pop it, but still, Prophecy is the main deck it's up against, and I guess Evil Swarm too. Just so good. Catastor, finally got one of these. Just good against basically the entire meta except for Evil Swarms. Generic 5-star synchro, good for attacking, good for defending, I guess, sort of. We got Barkion, not exactly relevant, but it is in a level 6. It's very helpful, and it can negate some of those infestation traps or whatever. 1 Kinlay, not playing 2 because 2 is not needed, and it's only 2300. Use it to pop back row, that's about it. Not necessarily useful. I don't really know. I guess it's against Evil Swarm is what's really important. But yeah, 1 guy a knight, it's a beater. Doesn't really attack over much this format, but it is a beater, and it's another Earth, so whatever. Souza, it's a generic level 7 you need, and physically you need it because Bogart Knight can't synchro for anything else with Full Helm Knight, so yeah. Black Rose, just a generic level 7. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not, but it is a level 7. It's kind of a small beater, and you can bulk the field whenever you need to. And then for our level 8s, which are the most important right now, we got the Scrap Dragon. Let you pop cards, which are very important. The Crimson Blader, which lets you slow down special summons and whatnot. Bad against Evil Swarm, good against every other deck. And then Colossal Fighter, which is needed as a big stick, and also for the Eradicators, which I have cited, so you can tribute this off Eradicator to stop Evil Swarm Prophecy from doing things. And we got 1 Gotems, keeping him at 1. Last update, I think I said I was going to try and maybe play him at 2, but I think 1 is fine. Next we got Mistworm. Mistworm is generic level 9, pretty good. Let you return cards to the hand, I guess. Just kind of random tech, I guess. And then for our Xyz, we have 10 Tempo, which is obvious. It's still level 3. It's the easiest one to summon out of all the cards in my extra deck. And then you detach 1 and detach 1 from, Gaios or Ophion or other annoying cards, or Dragosack even. Annoying cards that just you're so stupid and you need to get rid of quickly. So 10 Tempo. Maestro for generic rank 4. I could play Black Ship. I kind of want to play Black Ship to be honest, but this guy's just a nice wall, if anything. Last card we have is one of my favorite cards. It's Ptolemy M7. Oh my gosh, this card is so good. What you do with him is you overlay 2 level 6s to make him, and then you detach 1 and return 1 card from either player's graveyard or side of the field to their hand. So if they have Necro Gardener and you're going to push for a game, you can return that to their hand. If you want to, if you have a Faltrol engraved, you can detach 1 and add Faltrol back to your hand. If your opponent has Dragosack and stuff, you can detach one, bounce that, I guess. I guess it has to be back to the hand, so maybe that won't work for Synchros Seas, but the point is, the card is so versatile, and it's so easy to make too, because you have Fall Trolls in here, you have your 3 level 6 Synchros, just so easy to make. And the cool thing you can do is if you use a Fall Troll to make him, you can auto detach the Fall Troll and then auto add it back to your hand, because you can, once he's in the graveyard, you can still target him with his effect. So I can help you keep going with your plays. It's not as good as the Reggie Girl loop, but it's still pretty useful considering it's a 27 beater. So yeah, that's the whole extra deck. I'll go into the side deck now. Dark Hole decided instead of main because personal choice, and I don't think it's that good. 3 MSTs, I don't know how to use a third one for, but it is sided, so maybe against Evil Swarm or some other rogue deck, you know, who knows. Double Eradicator, I might end up even siding 3 and taking out one of my MSTs because it's just not really needed as much as Eradicator is, because, you know, with Colossal's, yeah, kind of a hit or miss card. Colossal's nice if you can get it off with the Eradicator, but, you know, if you get it off, you get it off. If you don't, well. Double Mind Crush, just a random floater. It's good against a lot of decks that search, and every deck searches, so I don't know what you're going to get out with this card, but you know, I don't have Dual and Lockbird, so you might as well get Mind Crush instead. Double Bottomless Trap Hole. Again, not main, so siding it instead. Probably play it against Dragons or some other random decks. Not really sure yet, but it is a good side card. Too fiendish. Yeah. Pretty good. Just negating effects, stopping attacks, stuff like that. Not sure where I'd side it, but it's just a good side choice. And then of course the Imperial Iron Wall. It's good against every deck this format. It's an obvious side choice, just against dragons and whatnot. And you know what? So good. Just play this card if you can. It's really good. Alright, so that's the whole deck. Hope you enjoy it. Yeah, probably how you should play it right now. I really like the Redox and whatnot. And the extra updates are pretty nice too. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and be sure to stay tuned for my channel for more updates to come.